Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to talk about something that I think every language learner runs into. It's that moment when you want to level up your speaking skills, move past the basics, and start sounding, well, truly fluent. We've got 10 fantastic expressions that are going to add a ton of nuance to your speech. So let's dive right in. So, does this sound familiar? You've got this huge vocabulary built up. You know literally thousands of words. But when you're actually in a conversation, you keep falling back on the same old simple phrases. It is so frustrating, right? But the fix might not be what you think.
Okay, so here it is, the big secret. It's not about cramming more individual words into your brain. It's about learning to see expressions as a single chunk. When you treat a whole phrase as just one piece, it takes this huge mental load off. Suddenly, you're not trying to build a sentence brick by brick, you're just grabbing the whole finished piece. It makes everything flow so much more naturally.
So here's our game plan for today. We've broken these expressions down into 4 themes to make them super easy to remember. We'll start with structuring an argument, then we'll get into talking about reality, move on to planning and taking action, and finally, we'll cover phrases that help you make a real impact. All right, first up, let's get into 2 phrases that are absolute game changers in any kind of debate, meeting, or even just a discussion where you really want to make a solid, logical point. Let's kick things off with having said that. Think of this as your perfect pivot. You use it when you want to acknowledge one point, show that you're listening, before you swing around and introduce a totally different or even opposite idea. It shows you're thinking critically. In this example from Google, it's just perfect. The first part sets the stage, hey, Google is different, it's not a normal office. But then, bam! Having said that, lets them bring in the contrast. We still have rules. It's all about creating that sophisticated balance in your argument. Okay, now for its slightly more formal and forceful cousin, be that as it may. You pull this one out when you're willing to say, okay, yes, I admit that fact is true, but you immediately follow it up with, but it doesn't change my core argument one bit. And wow, you can really feel the weight in this example, can't you? The speaker is basically saying, you can list all the reasons you want, be that as it may, it doesn't change this fundamental truth. It's a really powerful way to stand your ground. So now that we can build a strong argument, let's switch gears and talk about, well, reality itself. These next few expressions are all about how we see the world, from our hopes for the future to the lessons we learned from the past. I love this contrast here. On one side, you have wishful thinking. That's all about looking forward, hoping for something that's maybe not super likely. And on the other side, you've got in hindsight, that crystal clear vision you only get when you're looking back at something that's already happened. This is such a great everyday example of wishful thinking. There's no proof, no evidence. It's just what the speaker hopes is true. It's all about desire, not data. And here's the flip side. Oof, you can just feel the regret. Looking back, the speaker sees their mistake with perfect clarity. In hindsight is the go-to phrase for that moment you wish you had a time machine to go back and do it all differently. Oh man, this one is so human. We all do this. You take something for granted when you just stop seeing how valuable it is because it's always there. It's like your car, right? You jump in it every single day and you just expect it to work. But the one morning it doesn't start, that's when you suddenly realize how much you depend on it. That's the feeling of no longer taking it for granted. Okay, for our third group, we're all about getting things done. I like to think of these next 2 expressions as a little story, really. It's the story of how an idea goes from just a spark to a finished project. You see the flow, right? First, you toss around ideas. It's that fun, messy, creative part where you're just brainstorming with people. But once you land on that one brilliant idea, well, you might just have to start working around the clock. We're talking 24/7 to actually make it a reality. This example just captures that vibe perfectly. You can picture it, can't you? It's not some stiff, formal presentation. It's a collaborative, energetic, what-if kind of conversation. That's what tossing ideas around is all about. All right, let's head into our final section. This is all about leaving a mark with your words. These are the expressions that help you tell a great story or deliver a really important piece of information that people won't forget. Lo and behold. This one is pure storytelling magic. When you drop this into a story, it's like a little drum roll. You're signaling to your listener, get ready, the surprise twist is coming right now. It just builds that anticipation and makes the reveal so much more fun. Now, this one is just incredibly useful. When you tell someone to keep that in mind, you are basically taking out a big, yellow verbal highlighter and marking a piece of information as crucial. It's your way of saying, pay attention, this part really, really matters.
And whoa, you can just feel the intensity in that line. That's not a friendly tip. It's a serious life or death warning. The phrase, keep that in mind, gives the statement a weight that is just impossible to ignore.
Okay, and for our grand finale, we've got a truly advanced one, in and of itself. So what's it for? It's your tool for isolating one single factor. You use it when you want to say that one thing all by itself isn't the whole story or the main reason for something.
And there you have it, your brand new vocabulary toolkit. We've gone over how to structure your arguments, talk about reality, plan things out, and really make an impact. You've now got 10 amazing tools to help you speak with more confidence and a lot more sophistication.
And remember, the real goal here isn't just to memorize these. It's to get so comfortable with them that you don't even have to think. The more you hear them and the more you try to use them, well, lo and behold, one day you're just going to start using these expressions naturally and easily. And that's what fluency feels like.
So, as we wrap this up, I've got a challenge for you. Look at this list again and just pick one. Which one of these are you going to try and use in a conversation sometime this week? Because that's how it all begins. Go out there and give it a shot.